So that's something that Republicans always push, but I think as a Democrat, we look at it from the point of view that not everyone has the same opportunities. So that's something that's democratic. So when they're talking about things like everyone has to share everything, that isn't democratic at all. That's communist. That's socialism. And I'm not for that at all. The other thing that they said that really bothers me as a Democrat, they said that I'm anti immigration. Of course, I'm not. And I told you guys I come from an immigrant family and an immigrant background. But I'm also pro going through, I told you my family came through Ellis Island. I'm pro going through a legal way of getting here. They thought I would be in the extreme where I say that everyone should just be allowed to come to America. Why would I say that? That again goes back to this foreign way of thinking about this country. Why I feel this way. And they said, well, that doesn't sound like what the current Democrats are talking about. I'm entitled to have my opinion, still a Democratic opinion. I believe in immigration. I believe that people should be allowed to come into this country. I believe that people should have asylum from political and social issues in their countries. I believe all that stuff, and that's still a Democrat. What I don't believe in is that if we just let everyone come into this country without screening them, and we see some of the things that happen after we do that, most Democrats don't believe in that either. I just want to say that. Democrats never have said that either. But these types of people who I believe are either socialist, communists, or people who don't care enough to realize that there are countries, I'm not going to say which countries, that will, they said, bring their people that they don't want here. Not just that, but there are countries who will bring people who will cause problems for America here. I'm never going to support that. I'm never going to encourage that because I do care about this country. So I don't think there's any sort of problem by saying that. That doesn't make me less of a Democrat. That's something, and I usually look things up and I show you. But that's something that a lot of Democrats have said throughout the years. It's not that we're saying we don't want people to be screened. I'm saying that for people who know over the years, people had to be screened. That's how you can work. That's how, like they talked about when I had showed you guys working papers. We weren't allowed to work when we were 14 or 13 in certain jobs. So are they saying that in this country everything should be allowed? No. We don't want a bunch of kids working in factories. We went through that. And that's what I'm saying. This is from experience. We've experienced these things. We don't want a bunch of children coming into this country working in factories. Is that a Democrat? No. That's something Democrats have fought against. And partially how we were able to protect children from that type of life experience is by having rules, by making sure that they went through legal means of working, coming to this country. That was okay. I know I'm about to go off on another topic, but that's part of why I believe that it has to go through the courts and go through the legal system in order to bring people here because they'll get taken advantage of. They're trying to take advantage of me, and I'm an American. Imagine what they do to other people who don't have the same safeguards. They said that word, safeguards, that I have as a citizen. And that's part of it. So I will never say that the Democrats don't want people to come to this country and go through the legal system. I think that's the case that we do want. We just don't want a country where no one can come unless they pay to get here. That's another. I don't want that either. Could you imagine if we charge people to come into this country? That would enable the bad stuff to happen because the countries that don't want their people will pay the money to bring their people here, and then they're here. So this is part of what I'm saying. They're confusing so many issues that to me aren't even an issue. I'm a Democrat. I believe in immigration. I believe that we have to have a legal way of bringing people to this country and making sure they're documented so nothing bad happens to them and kids don't start working at night. We don't want that to happen again. So it's not what they try to make it seem. The last point that I want to make about that, there was something else that they were talking about, and again, they said that once you see my family, my true family, you'll know that we look different. And they said we look mixed. I think this is the problem. You people who know me have seen my family for at least 51 years since I was around. They probably have people who don't know me and know them have seen them for even longer. Why now would we change that? They said what they planned on doing was trying to kind of change things around. And that's what I've been saying. Once 2016 hit, all sorts of weird stuff started to happen. So they're upset because I told you, and they remember me saying this. Things happened in phases. It's gradual. They don't do this all at once. If you did it all at once, then I would have immediately come on, you know, the videos and started talking about this. But since it's such a gradual thing, you don't realize, okay, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. It keeps getting worse. It keeps getting worse. It keeps getting worse. So that's why I say, okay, the first time I remember being followed this way was in 2016. People coming into where I work with these setups. They said in 2015 they sent someone in, but it wasn't in my mind the same way. In 2016 is when I realized it. By 2017, and the guy asked about my hearing, that's another stage. 2017 was also, so 2017 the hearing, 2017 the Roosevelt tram incident. They said I was supposed to react and then she would have all these people come. But because I didn't react and I was like, what's going on? And I walked away from them, they had to wait for me. That was